And we are back for another live episode of the Kingdom. We would like to welcome everybody across this beautiful country of ours and beyond Manitoba, Sask, Alberta, BC, all the way up to Newfoundland, and any other golfers across the world. We got a good one tonight. We're talking about the Players, the fifth major as it's known to most, but I would consider it to be one of the four majors. But, anyways, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We don't got a lot of time, so let's get back to it. Drummy, we'll see you in 30 seconds. And you too, Reggie. Let's go.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kingdom. As always, my name is Drums, and I'm joined by the brothers behind King Golf, Regan and Jordan Headley. As we always do, this time of the night, we send her right up north to our boy Reg. See how he's doing? Reginald, how are you, my friend? Are you got yourself out of the snow? Last time we talked, everybody was tits deep in snow. So
yeah, it looks like from a couple of videos I saw George getting it on that side of the park today, but we didn't get a whole lot of anything here today. All things are good. We had the rec tourney on the weekend, another fireball victory, which was a good way to end the weekend. We played one game on Saturday at 12:30, so you can imagine where that day went. Still kind of in recovery mode, drinking water and a smoothie here on Wednesday. So, no, things are good.
I thought you were sneaking a smoothie in there, you little rascal.
Mm-hmm. Things are good up here. Actually, coming into Brandon this weekend to golf on Sunday, hopefully, if we can get booked in there. And to get my hair cut for the first time in 4 or 5 months. So, yeah, it'd be a good weekend.
Thomas, how's things out in Rossman?
Top of the evening to you, ladies and gents. Reggie, the hair does look a little shaggy, but he said it was the longest it's been in a while on the weekend, so overdue for one for sure. It was a good weekend. Nice to see the boys always. Nice to get another victory with the fireballs, and we did get a lot of snow today. It was without a doubt the biggest snowflakes I've ever seen in my life today. They're about that big, falling from the sky. Arnie was loving it. I don't think that he could love the snow any more than he does. You guys should have seen him today. He was just having an absolute heyday out there, and just sitting by the window watching the snow. It was massive. I went into Brandon today. Roads were horrible. It's like spring, slushy. Every time you pass the semi, you just get absolutely drenched. And then you start hydroplaning too on the highway. It's kind of scary actually. So thankfully we had some good tires on. Made her in today. Got the brand new King Golf polos. Not quite ready yet, but they're on the final leg, I guess, of their journey. So they're looking pretty good. We're pretty excited to get those out to everybody. I'm thinking probably sometime in the next couple of weeks, whenever Reggie and I can get together, we'll do a little photo shoot. We'll post them, and then we'll get them out to the people. And they're going to be scattered across Manitoba this year in pro shops. So if you're in Manitoba, keep an eye out. Your golf course might be having some King Golf polos. And we got some brand new quarter zips too. So that was the purpose of today's trip, and spent a couple $100 at Tender Cuts as well. So freezers are stocked. Big shout out to Tender Cuts. We should make them an unofficial, unpaid sponsor of the Kingdom. They are the best place to buy meat in the area, I think. Drums, you a shopper there as well?
Absolutely. We're there twice a week, basically. So yeah, big supporters, big fans.
Everything there that's very high quality, and I find it's actually either cheaper or about the same price as like a grocery store.
I've had it way cheaper for better quality.
Yeah. Really
do they come to your house to do the
big shout out to them.
Or
hat tip? We'll save them for a cheers, maybe for a later date.
Yeah. What's that, Reggie?
Do they come to your house to do the killing, or? And could they do a cat if I requested? I'm sitting on here on mute for most of the night, probably here. As you could hear in the background, I'll go back.
Yeah, should we send Dusty your way?
You hate to see it for
Cleaned up?
Reggie tonight, but it's okay. We'll get through it. We'll sneak through our drums. What's up in Brandon, my friend?
Not much. We basically just spent the weekend playing in the backyard. The snow was fun enough that we could do some playing, making some forts, snowmen, that type of thing. So did that. My parents got back last week from Mexico. They were there for a month, so they took him off our hands for Sunday, which they usually do every week. But when you go a month without that, after a while, it's like, okay, where's mom and dad so I can actually get some shit done without him poking me the entire time. So that was good just to get some things cleaned up around the house. But other than that, it was just pretty laid back weekend. And let's get ready here, boys. We're sniffing. I think
We're sniffing
we
for
talked
sure.
about it 4 weeks ago when there was no snow left. Let's talk again here.
Now there's record amounts of snow here. We spoke way too soon, as we knew we would.
Yeah, there's 17 feet of snow now, so we might be in one.
We're almost. We might as well be in the Rocky Mountains, except it's a little colder. Shout out to BCT 4 Plebs in the house tonight. Good evening, my friend, and Adam. Hello, everyone. So we got a couple channels on the go here. We got the Kngdom and we got the 88 Sats radio channel. So welcome to everybody. The golfers are here. It's good to see. Tonight's show is going to be all about the players. We got a couple things to check on that happened last week. A couple things in the golf world. We're going to do a couple picks for the players, and then we're going to talk about the players. Drums has a little bit of some intel for us. So without further ado, Reggie, do you want to give the cheers for tonight? Every week we do a cheers to somebody, something, anybody out there who's doing good in the world, either excelling or just good for the people. And Reggie's got a good one tonight.
Yeah, this week's cheers is another go figure, Derek Kngdom client. Client? Is that what you'd call it? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think he calls them clients. I think he calls them students, maybe. Students of the game.
Students of the game. Anyways, this week's cheers goes out to Jared Dutois. He's getting all kinds of coverage from social media accounts, whether it be Monday Q, Corn Ferry Tour stealing Monday Q's tweets, Monday Q making a mistake, leaving one location out, and Corn Ferry Tour leaving the same location out, and Monday Q saying, I'm not saying they stole my tweet, but I forgot this, and so did they. And he edited his, and they soon after edited theirs and said the tour only goes after him over stuff that they don't like, but never to thank him for information like this. So anyways, the tweet was that Jared Dutois has been from Malaysia to New Zealand to Chile to Hong Kong. It's been a wild couple of weeks for conditional member Jared Dutois, but a T8 finish at the Chile Classic has earned him a spot at Club Car Champ in April. So here's to Jared Dutois. Look for him to be climbing the leaderboards on the Corn Ferry and hopefully on the PGA shortly.
Cheers.
Sorry about the squawking going on in the background there, boys.
I can't hear it.
Can't hear it anymore. You're good.
Okay, good.
Maybe I need my ears checked.
But Monday Q seems to be going back and forth with a lot of people recently. I'll be forever grateful that I will never reach that level of fame. I'm not even saying that dude's that famous, just Twitter famous. The amount of bullshit that you've got to look at your phone every day with some of these donkeys coming at you for no reason. Like you said, he missed placing a location on a tweet and gets ripped apart for it for the next day. But
especially since what the hell was I going to say there? What were we talking about? Monday Q?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a brain fart there. No, go ahead, Reggie. It'll come to me.
No, so like Drums, he was saying, I'm not saying they took this information from me, but, and then he posted and forgot to put one on there. And they stole his tweet and put it out there like a story about it. And then never put that Omen location as well. And And then they changed it after he said that. So he said that they always get mad at him. Not in this case, they didn't reach out to him, but they always get mad when he tweets stuff that he shouldn't be. And in this case, they don't tweet him to thank him for the info. He said he never hears from them in situations like this. So
Of course.
he's pretty fired up at the tours. I think he kind of got shafted by the PGA with a few things. I believe that's kind of the message I took from it.
That doesn't happen with the media, does it ever?
Yeah, probably not, eh? Anyways.
What I was going to say there is especially like Twitter's horrible for that kind of stuff. Like it's an actual cesspool of just bullshit. But for somebody like Monday Q, where he's actually the guy running his account, and it's not like somebody on his behalf that he hires like a social media team and they deal with it. Like he is the guy putting out all the content. He's the guy dealing with the bullshit, and that would take a toll on the guy for sure. I know exactly what you're saying, Drums. That's a tall task for the average guy. That, you know, it's different if you're making millions of dollars and you have to take that kind of heat, but he's not, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm sure he's not up to that pay grade just yet, but
so
still at the same time, he's taking some shots, but he gives it right back. So hat tip to him.
Which is good. What do we got? Let's take a trip around the greens tonight, Drummy. We got lots going on in the golf world.
Reggie, you got any housekeeping from last week at all?
Not really. No, I don't. I don't have a whole lot of anything.
Okay. Well, I guess we can dive right into around the greens, and this one's going to be quite focused around the Players' Championship. Actually, I'm going to throw out. There's always a lot of talk around Live versus PGA. The best players on the planet aren't all at the same place, but I'm going to throw out quite a few pairings here, and like let's all calm our jets here. There is a considerable amount of amazing talent that is going to be present at this tournament. So the talk of some of those players, and really, like, what are we missing? 3, maybe 4 guys that we would like to see them included in this event. But we've got Hideki, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Max Homa. We got Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler, and JT, Wyndham Clark, Colin Morikawa, Brian Harmon, Jason Day, Siwoo, Matt Kuchar, Sam Burns, Xander Schauffele, Tommy Fleetwood, Vic, Rory, Jordan, Ludwig Arberg, Cantley, Adam Scott, Nick Taylor, Tom Kim, Justin Rose. So, yes, we're going to be missing 4 to 5 people. Everybody else is going to be at this event. So let's go here. Like, isn't this the starting point? LFG.
Yeah, they should kind of be pumping it up a little bit, more than they are for sure.
I agree.
I think they do have to gas that major, make this the major. Yeah. Let's kick it off. Let's go, baby.
I think so too. But do you move it though, or do you let the Masters go first in April as the kickoff?
That's the next question. I think you go this guy
first.
Yep.
I don't think it would take anything away from Augusta, honestly.
You don't think it would?
I don't think so, because we're not. It's not like we're golfing here right now, anyways. Augusta has that feeling because we're almost every year, for us especially, that we're almost golfing. Like that's almost the beginning of the golf season every year. So you kind of, that's like the final like ramp up to our season if we're not already golfing on.
Do you think that could ever happen though on the PGA right now? Do you think that they would ever make a move like that? So. Yeah.
No.
I mean, especially because it would be getting rid of their own championship, right? Like it's the Players or it's the PGA Championship.
Yeah, and Trev's got a good point here in the chat because I think it used to be in May, right? The Players.
Right.
So Trev said, keep in mind they just recently moved the Players back to March, which was a good move in my opinion. I think it is, even though it's not an official major in the books, I think it is an official major for a lot of golf fans. And so I do agree with you guys. I think that it doesn't take away anything away from Augusta. I think it actually gets people more interested in golf leading up to Augusta.
Definitely.
So,
Drums, just in response, I guess, to your question, real quick, I should get this out of the way for housekeeping. Matteo Manacero won on the DP World Tour on the weekend.
Holy.
That's nuts.
Who the heck's
Like,
that?
He was a absolute up and coming stud, and that would have been like how many years ago? Probably when he was like 16.
It was like 12 years or something like that. That he
Yeah,
went.
since his last win. Like, unbelievable, man. It's like shit like that is so sick. Like, he could just rejuvenate his career. His last shit. His last win on the European Tour was the BMW PGA Championship in 2013, so 11 years ago. And he was supposed to be like this up and coming stud, like an incredible golfer from Italy. And then he kind of just fell off the face of the earth. Probably got, honestly, too big too fast. But I mean, he's 30 now. Like, it's not like he's old and washed
Right.
up. Like, he's 30 years old, right? Like, lots of guys come into their prime at that age. So I don't know. Keep an eye on him.
And it's not like he completely disappeared for the 10 years either. Like he was on tour just absolutely grinding.
Yeah.
Just living around the cut line, making his living that way, yeah. So it was a cool story.
Should also mention AC finished the weekend at 8 under. Went on Instagram and said it wasn't his best weekend of golf. On to the next one. I think he's getting ready to play some Asian events now. I think they're going to the Asian swing. So, yeah. I mean, I was kind of thinking about this as I saw him post that, and as I kind of saw that he moved down the leaderboard to 55th, and I was like, man, it's just crazy how perspectives change. Like, at one point, like, he made the weekend, like this weekend, and I was kind of like, oh shit, like, he's not really in a position where he could give a run at it. But at one point,
Right.
like, when he was grinding to make the cuts to stay on tour, like, we were literally following the cut line to see if he was going to make the cut. And now it's kind of just become like a take it for granted type deal. He's making cuts on the second best tour in the world every week. Like, it's.
So what did he finish again on the weekend? -8. What place?
Tied 55th.
Holy, must have
It's
been
crazy that you could shoot 8 under in 4 rounds
shit.
and you tied 55th. But yeah.
Yeah, there were some low
it's
scores.
25. 26. So 26 under and 4. It's like, how good you got to be, man. Wow.
We should also give a shout out to speaking of guys who used to be good at golf. You see AC or AK, I mean, on Sunday at Live?
Yeah.
-5. I think he
Got him
tied
here.
low score of the day on Sunday. 7 birds, 2 bogeys.
He was, yes,
good for him.
Tied for the low score of the day. Still finished 50 out of 54, but that is a massive improvement from where he was
no doubt.
last week.
Because he was dead last week before, right? And not even really close to anybody else.
Not close to second last,
Well, he was 45 shots off the lead last week.
pretty respectable, though, honestly. Like 7 birdies in a round.
100%.
Like, that's pretty hot golf.
Hell yeah.
I also saw a thing where his caddy was talking that he hasn't been fitted for clubs yet. So he's just grabbed some twigs off the rack and just rocking them for now. And
he's also got
he said he's just going to figure everything else out back when he gets back to the States.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to say is that he's actually going to play this weekend, I think, somewhere else on a different tour, right? I'm pretty sure I saw that. Like, the Live's off for a couple weeks now, but I think he's actually going to play in an event this week somewhere else just to keep golfing and keep things rolling.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Sunshine Tour or something.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, the guy's getting paid obviously by Live. I don't know how much. I can't see it being a ton.
Yeah, they haven't really came out with anything, but I can also see it not being pennies either.
I was thinking that too. Like, that's a pretty big sign, I think, for Live. It's pretty funny. He's got the Live Golf,
like, even if it's
logo on his hat.
They sponsored him.
Literally. Sorry, Drummy. I think you're freezing a little bit. You're on my end, anyways.
Yeah, mine too.
Shit. Sorry.
It's okay. No, it's not terrible. I think we just missed a couple things you said. So we're not ignoring you. I just think that you froze on us. But anyways, Drake's in the house. Good evening, Drake, with the new Golf Highway logo. Pretty sharp logo. I'm a fan. Make sure to check out Drake on the Instagrams. He's been posting quite a bit. It seemed like he accumulated. He did the
Killing
reverse
it.
of us. We lost all of our content from last year, and he was putting all of his in his cheeks like a little squirrel. And he's been pretty consistent with it. So it's good to see. So it's my own fault, though. Not really my fault, but all of our content from the last couple of years is gone. And you may have noticed that
Shigo.
the King Golf has been pretty quiet, and that is the reason why. So we'll get back to accumulation mode this summer. I can't wait. Anyways, what else, Drummy?
So yeah, I just got a bunch of kind of random trivia knowledge, some general info around the players here. So I'll fire some general knowledge question or answers to you.
Okay.
So this actually is the 50th anniversary of the tournament. Rory, his first tournament was back in 2009. He was 20 years old. Did you guys see this interview? So he was saying he played in Vegas the week prior. Might have had himself a bit of fun, so didn't really get to prepare like he had hoped. Missed the cut, and then proceeded to get kicked out of every bar in the area for using a fake ID at the time, and was banned from the bars for that year.
Was that
Was that
Chubby
Fat
Rory?
Rory?
That was Fat Rory, yeah. Man, they keep showing pictures of him in the Netflix show, like where he was like, I want one of these, like patting back to a picture of the guy, like where he's holding up the US Open or whatever. Like that looks like a completely different person. Like I understand you look different from when we were 18, but that's a different human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Legit.
Wonder if he was on Ozempic.
What's that, Drummy?
Oh, boy.
We caught that. You froze at the end of it, but we caught the whole thing you said. You might have to restart or something. I think my internet's good here. Seems to be. We haven't had any issues for a while, Drums, so don't get too upset. Remember that stretch we had on the Kingdom where like 2 months straight Drums' internet was going down on the boys?
That was absolutely insane. That was such a crazy stretch.
That was tough.
I was blacking out.
So, some really funny reactions to it, though, if there was a good from it.
Katie, got me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
All right, we're back at her. In 1992, Mark Calcavecchia and John Daly were the first pair off on the final day of the tournament. They were then reprimanded by the Deputy PGA Tour Commissioner for failure to exert their best effort. After they finished their 18 holes of golf in only 2 hours and 3 minutes.
So they were penalized for it?
I remember hearing John Daly speak about this one time, and him and Calc got absolutely banged up the night before, and they just kind of carried it over into the next day. So they had some drinks that morning. They realized they were the first ones off. They said, fuck it, let's get out of here as quick as possible and head straight to the bar. So that is exactly what they did. I think it's for an undisclosed amount. So I don't think it was like a huge fine.
No way. That's crazy. That seems like a couple buddies what they do at the Tamarack every year.
Yeah. Oh, we play each other tomorrow. Let's just go get blacked out
and start drinking on the way to the course.
Yeah, that's good shit. On the PGA, the highest tour in the world. These guys are doing that shit. It's unbelievable.
I guess he wouldn't have been drinking during the round though, because remember that interview he did with Tucker, and he said that he's only drank on the course like once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
So either that's a lie or he was drinking.
I think this was the tournament.
Oh, really?
I think this was the tournament.
The players.
He was. But I mean, like, he was a wild. He still is a wild boy.
Yeah.
1999, David Duval wins by 2 shots and takes over the world #1 ranking. At that point, he was the last person to touch it before Tiger took over for a span of 4 complete years.
Oh, 4 years straight, number one. So that would have been from 99 to 03.
So I think it was closer to the end of '99, so it almost would span like 4.5 years. But it was in '04 when he gave it up to VJ.
That's
Nuts, absolutely
absolutely
nuts.
insane. That is insane. I mean, I've been I think it's YouTube's pretty good in choosing what they think you're gonna want to watch, but I've had a ton of Tiger Woods rounds, like old rounds popping up on my YouTube lately. And I just every time I see one, I just save it for later because you just can't get enough of in prime Tiger Woods, like 2000, even 99 up until like even 05. Like that was absolute prime Tiger Woods.
Oh yeah.
And so he played in some different tours too. I was looking. One was in Dubai. I think it was the Euro Tour. I don't know why he was playing there, but I just like watching any sort of round of golf. Yeah, some cash. I just love watching any sort of round of Tiger Woods when he was in his prime. I don't think we'll ever see a golfer in history again dominate the way he did during that stretch.
Just a robot in a couple of years.
Crazy.
Okay, so the next one I got is in Augusta opening round in May of 2007. A record 50 balls found the water in the 17th hole, which broke the single round record, which was 45 prior to that. That's crazy.
How many players are in the field? Like 150?
Yeah, so that's 25% of the
144
field is in the
probably,
drink.
yeah. That's wild.
Wow. I would love to play that course. I mean, it'd be very hard to simulate, obviously, the pressure and the players, but I still think it would be just cool to play it. Does anybody know, and you might have this on your info drums, but does anybody know how big the green is square footage wise? Like, could we compare it to anything in terms of like a landing space?
No, I don't have that down actually.
Hang
I'll
on.
Google it right
You
now,
guys,
Drummy.
you guys keep chatting.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's one of the most famous holes in golf, right? There's Tiger. Was that the U.S. Was that his last U.S. Open? I can't remember, but he makes that shot from barely hanging on to grass. Remember, he was right up against the wood, sinks that putt. Remember the
Was that at the
Pelican
US
grabbing the
Open?
ball? The U.S. Amateur, sorry. I didn't mean U.S. Open, U.S. Amateur.
Yeah. I watched that putt not that long ago. That was was that the better than most one?
No,
No, that was when
no.
he was on
Like,
the PGA. That was just kind of players, I think.
That wasn't the
Right?
players, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, better than most. Is better than most not the putt on at the Masters
No.
in
It
your
was the
life?
Island Green because it barely hung on, and the announcers
Better than
couldn't believe
most.
that it hung on.
Better than most.
Yeah.
Better than most.
Yeah,
It
that's it.
says the 17th green is 3,900 square feet
That's not that big.
compared to the average of 4,500 square feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be
Okay.
like massive, but I guess
Yeah.
when you're making an Island Green, it can't be that big. But I remember we were talking about the size of greens at one tournament in the past, and we were very surprised how many square feet the
It
average
was
green
big,
size.
wasn't it?
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
Can't
Some more
remember where
quick
that
ones
was.
here. Sergio Garcia holds the record with the all-time most career earnings at the Players Championship with just about $6 million through 22 events.
Me too.
Really?
So, like, this guy's made a career, an amazing career from one event. Like $6 million he's made off of one event. Hilarious. And that was before it was elevated to an elevated event. Now the purse was $4 million or something last year. Discontinued. So nuts.
So Sergio's made more at the Players than the three of us have made in what?
Or will make
100 years. No,
probably
not
our
what?
whole lives.
Maybe.
Combined. I don't know. You see this Bitcoin? She is flying.
Trev says Kapalua has the biggest greens on tour, and Pebble, he thinks, has the smallest greens. Interesting fact there. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Was it
Kapalua
the LA
makes
Country
sense.
Club that had the big ones?
The first event, so like let's ease into a bit. Sorry, Reg.
No, I think it was the LA Country Club at the US Open when it had the big greens.
Yeah. They're all like 600,000 square feet, I think.
Mm-hmm.
In 1978, the PGA purchased the land that now encompasses the stadium tour. Take a guess at how much they paid.
So the PGA purchased the land around it, or they purchased the land?
They purchased the land that was built. Yeah.
In 78?
Yeah.
Oh, God. $1 million.
Reg?
I don't
Price
even
is right,
know.
it, buddy.
$990.
No,
$2 million.
What?
Why?
Is there a reason for it? Like
So,
property
like they
tax or
had,
something?
they already owned the land around surrounding it. And so this section of land then turned into the course that we now know that hosts the event. So it was sold relatively cheap to them as they owned all the land surrounding it. But yeah, they bought it for $1, then turned it into probably like a top 5 most recognizable course in the world. Nuts.
Well, the green fees are how much there? Like
900?
American?
Last time I heard they were like 600 or 700 American per round, and that
I
was
think it's
like
900
before.
American now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they were releasing last week was 900. Nuts.
I'm not paying that ever.
No, me
That's a
either.
hell of a return on investment, though. Invest
Yeah,
$1. Yeah.
Do you think there was some sort of backroom deal there or something, or had to have been, right?
Most likely.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I don't know if this will be quite as a good of investment or not, but you can actually purchase land in Strathclair, Manitoba for $1 as well.
Come on.
Yeah, true. That sign's been there for like 20 years, man.
Where?
Maybe they took it down, but it was as soon as you went into Strath, heading east, there was a sign that said lots $1 Strathclair.
What?
I also seen in Shoal Lake there was like a lot for like $3,000.
I mean,
these poor small
town
towns,
probably
man,
owned the land, and they wanted somebody to either develop it or pay property tax on it. So, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it sort of does, but it also, I don't know.
I don't know, man. That's a hell of a game.
I wonder what he's doing living in the city.
100%. And that's how that's the only way that these towns will ever grow. We start offering cheap land. You get people coming back here, building homes and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Okay, we got, sorry, Drummy, we got some info in the chat here from our unofficial, but close to being our official fact checker in the chat, Trev. Used to be Robbie Hopkins, but he just vanished on the show. So big reverse shout out to Robbie Hopkins. I don't know if he still watches the show or not. But
don't do that to him.
But Trev says September till May tee times started 650 US. So is that like off season there then? I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's off season.
What's on season? Which includes a 4 caddy.
I think that.
Well, I saw one.
I think June to August is on season.
Yeah, it has to be.
I just went the opposite, like, or outside of the month season.
No, I mean, what's the price? Anyways, that's high season there, he says. How?
Oh.
Okay, where is this tournament?
It's too hot.
It is Florida.
Florida.
Too hot.
True. That's true.
Too damn hot.
Nobody wants to golf in
July.
that weather.
What's next, Drummy?
Fuck. What do I got here? Okay, I like this one. The island green design came by accident. The original design for the 17th was to be pretty simple. A par 3 green only partially surrounded by a lake. However, the soil surrounding the 17th green consisted of sand, which is necessary to build a good golf course, but rare on the otherwise swampy property. And by the time that the course was near completion, all the sand had been dug up from the area, leaving a large crater. Alice Dye, Pete Dye, the designer's wife, suggested the island green concept, remembering another course with a similar green. Pete was not particularly thrilled by the idea, but went ahead with it, in the process creating one of golf's most recognizable holes. Because of its popularity among fans, Golf Channel devotes 11 to 13 cameras during each tournament just to the green.
Do you think it said one of, but do you think it is the most recognizable hole in the golf world?
It has to be.
That or 7 at Pebble, I would say.
I don't think 7 at Pebble would even be in the same conversation, honestly.
In my mind, the road hole is always going to be number 1 on St. Andrews.
But for like the average person, though, like golfers might know the 7th at Pebble. Golfers might know the road hole at St. Andrews. But I think like the average person who doesn't like that into golf, I don't think that anything would compete with like an
Augusta.
Island green.
I got 100% with you. What's that other very famous island green? I think you have to take almost a boat ferry.
Yeah, is it Coeur d'Alene?
Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, it's called, I think.
Yeah.
18 Pebble Beach, yeah, it's pretty accurate.
18 Pebble, yep. 100%.
18 Pebble would be up there for sure. But I just
Augusta,
think because
12 Augusta.
Like all these other holes we're talking about right now are like just golf holes still. The island green itself is so unlike anything else, and I think that that's why it really stands out in most people's minds.
I would go 17 at Waste Management, then
16
players, then 16. Yeah.
12 at Augusta though is also quite.
12 is. That's and there's a lot of famous shots there as well. I think that's part of it is what like,
and the bridge
blow up there. Yeah. I still think that if I had to pick one hole, it would be the Island Green at TPC. I think that would be the number one.
I agree
most well-known golf hole.
It's the most highlight ever for sure.
Is that your favorite though?
No, probably not. I was going to say that or either that or hole 3 at Rossman Lake.
12 would definitely be mine. 12 at Augusta for sure would be my
12 at Augusta.
12 or 13 actually.
I go, what's 13? The first par 5, right on the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, over the creek.
Yeah. Oh, man. Now that okay, we can't talk about that golf course. I'm going to get.
Augusta's so sick, man. Like every hole, it's like, okay. Oh.
We'll probably talk about this before the Masters, but has the inside information we got about the Masters in terms of like the birds being fake, like has that ruined it for you guys a little bit? Because it has for me.
No.
I still love it.
I still love it too.
I knew wrestling was fake my entire life, but I liked it still.
But I liked it. Yeah. No. It's I don't know.
Who's the greatest wrestler of all time? Or who's your favorite wrestler of all time? Who? Shawn Michaels?
No, Stone Cold's the best.
Stone Cold.
The Rock's my fave.
Favorite? This is a good one. Rey Mysterio Jr.
You can't go against the Brahma Bull.
I think The Rock used to be my favorite too, but I think he's a piece of shit in in reality.
I think he's a borderline piece of shit.
He's what?
I think he is a borderline piece of shit.
Yeah. I might go with Stone Cold as well. I liked his wrestling style, his moves, his off the outside the ring antics that he did, the double beer smash.
Yeah, his on mic was amazing. Like he's got a phenomenal podcast now. Like he's actually just a beauty in real life.
Yeah, that's
who
kind of
else?
what I
Who else
gathered
was?
too.
Yeah, who else was really good in our day? Taker.
You actually can't go wrong with.
Remember Kane? Kane used to scare the piss out of me.
You can't go wrong with the American hero Kurt Angle either.
Kurt Angle. That's a wild pull.
Actually, if I had to pick one, I'd either go Stone Cold or I'd go Bret the Hitman Hart, just because he's Canadian too.
Oh, Triple
I'm
H.
also going to throw Trish Stratus into the top tier. Seen her lately?
Or
No,
China?
I could imagine.
Chef's kiss. Whew.
China? I was trying to look.
Not China. Just a little decomposed.
Yeah. Do you think Rikishi Fatu is still alive?
Okay, let's get back to the players here, folks.
I gotta see if Rikishi's still alive.
I like how Drum said she's a little bit too decomposed, and then he froze with like a big smirk on his face right after that.
Okay, the last thing I got in Around the Greens, we had talked previously, and this is probably 2 years ago at this point now, but I think there was a bit of an announcement that HBO was working on a golf comedy show, and it appears that we have our lead, and that lead is Owen Wilson. Are you guys fans of this gentleman?
He's been around the golf course quite a bit lately. He was checking with Uncle Max there a little while ago. Is that kind of tied to this? Was he learning the game a little bit?
So he has always been a fan, but he has been more, I guess, noticeable at events. So take that as you will.
So probably then?
Yeah, so it's probably they're pushing him, making sure that he's seen, possibly filming shit too. So
it did seem
kind of eager to see how that ends up.
Yeah, it's going to
be.
We
talked about it being a show. I think it's a series. They're gonna. What I did read was they're gonna try and tie it into a golf version of Ted Lasso. So there was always talk of it was basically a Happy Gilmore after the fact. So we'll see how that ends up.
Do you think that?
Go ahead, Reggie.
Think he looks like Greg Norman?
Well, it's not really based. Well, it's kind of loosely based on Third Leg Greg, right?
Right. So he looks like him.
He does. The schnoz is a little more lopsided than Greg's.
But I mean, if you had to have an actor that looks like him, I mean, it's pretty damn close.
Perfect. Yeah.
I kind of like Owen Wilson. I've always enjoyed his movies.
He just might have to pack the shorts a bit.
Wedding Crashers definitely will always put him up near the top for me.
He's had a lot of good flicks. Really good input from the chat here from Adam. He said Stone Cold has the Broken Skull Ranch. Great show. Never seen it. Never heard of it, actually.
It's his podcast, yeah.
Oh, it's a podcast. I thought it was like a series.
I don't know. What do you call these things anymore? Like 99.9% of podcasts now have video version. Like, is it just a video podcast? Is it a show? Whatever.
It's a show. I mean, the Kngdom started as strictly a podcast. That's kind of why we got used to calling it the Kngdom podcast. And before COVID, that's kind of when the majority of things were still on podcast only. There wasn't a whole lot of like shows on YouTube as much as there is now. Like that was a real Kickstarter for the YouTube, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the end of their drums, end of the road.
That's all we got, baby.
I like it. That was a good one tonight. So let's do our picks. before we do our picks, though, we should quickly. I know we're very tight on time here in terms of the deadline, but we're doing a Sats pool. It's the first one of the year, or is it second, Reggie? First.
First of this year, yeah.
First of this year. So a Sats pool is basically a golf pool, but with Bitcoin. So if you're interested, I think we have about 6 or 7 guys in there right now. It's 15,000 Satoshis to enter, which is about $15. You pick 4 guys. The highest total earnings for the tournament gets the pot, 75% of the pot. The portion goes to second place, and then some goes to the 88 Sats fund, I guess you'd say, a small percentage of it. So that's it. If you're interested, shoot me a message on King Golf account or send us an email. Find a way to get a hold of us, but you need 4 guys within the next, what, Reggie? 2.5 hours?
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty good. I love the it's a little bit more interesting in terms of Bitcoin because even this year we did our NFL year-long pool in Bitcoin, and the winner got close to 1 million sats, which has pretty much doubled since the NFL wrapped up. So it's fun to see the Bitcoin pools, just to be able to look back later and see how much people really won. So I know we probably have a couple Bitcoiners in the chat tonight. If you're interested, send in your 4 names, 15,000 sats. Deadline is at midnight tonight, and I'll send out a spreadsheet or something with everybody's picks tomorrow morning. And because it is such a last minute thing here, if you're not a Bitcoiner, you can just send in $15 and we'll donate the sats on your behalf. And then maybe if you win, you'll become a Bitcoiner after that. So that's the offer for tonight. We should be including the non-Bitcoiners as well. So that's kind of the idea there. If you don't have Bitcoin and you don't have the time to figure it out in 2.5 hours, but you still want to be in, we'll let you in. Golf Highway is locked in as well. Big shout out to Drake too. He's been doing some pretty good stuff on his account with the golf pools. He's in the dollars. We're in the Bitcoin. We work together. We're here on Team Golf. Everybody, it's going to be quite the summer, I think, folks. So
Yeah.
what's your guys' picks? Have you guys locked in your picks for the draft tonight yet? The pool?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay, well, Reggie, start with who do you think is going to win this week? You don't have to say 4 guys, but who do you think is going to win this week? Rory or
Yeah.
Phil?
Rory.
You going Rory?
Mm-hmm.
That's a surprise to me.
I actually
Really?
have a bit of a renewed liking to Rory after I think I've only watched 2 episodes of the Netflix show. I don't know how far you guys have gotten yet. We can get into it another day maybe. But he looks good in the first 2 episodes anyway.
I want to watch it.
How about
tonight.
this? What about this? What if Rory turned into chubby Rory again? I think he might gain a lot of fans with that. What do you guys think?
Oh,
He wouldn't be healthy though.
Wouldn't be what? No, I don't think so. Here's a guy. Here's a guy or girl who would be
Got a
perfect
guy.
for the pool.
Ballsy.
I've seen Ballsy Golf on the 88 Sats channel as well. So I think that he or she is a Bitcoiner. So we're doing, if you just showed up late to the show, rewind the show about 5 minutes. We're doing a Bitcoin golf pool. Deadline is in 2.5 hours, 15,000 sats. And we'd love to have you, Ballsy Golf. Great name. Any long shots though, Reggie? What's your pick for a long shot this week?
Well, depends what you consider long shots. The Canadians used to be long shots, but I don't think they really are anymore. Like Nick Taylor wouldn't be considered a long shot anymore.
No.
I'm gonna go long shot for me. I'm gonna go Nikolai Hogard.
Interesting.
Doesn't he play for
no.
for the
Live.
Canucks? Does he play for the Canucks?
That's Hoglander.
Oh.
Yeah, that's his. For no rhyme or reason, it just seems like this guy's always at the top of leaderboards in all the tournaments he plays in. So I like him.
So there you go, Ballsy Golf. Take that one to the bank, or bet on Nick Taylor. I think that he's going to be a solid pick for 2024. I think that 2024 is kind of going to be his year where he's going to be hot, but people are just going to continue underestimating him in every aspect of it. And I think he's going to just keep showing up and proving people wrong. So I think the 2024 is going to be like the year of Nick Taylor in terms of still being a sleeper before he turns into one of the favorites on tour.
And he'll get to play
That's
in
your pick?
Montreal.
And he'll be in Montreal for the President's Cup this year. That's not my pick. My pick this week is Corey Connors, another Canadian. I don't really have a reason why. I think that he's been around for the last little while, and I think that sometimes it just happens. Yeah, when's the last time Corey won an event? It feels like he's been kind of in the top
Sniffing.
10s for a long time. He just hasn't really got to that. The putts haven't gone in for him.
I think he had to have. I think he had to have last year.
Won?
Because he played in the Century.
Right. Yeah, he did win last year. So anyways, that's my pick for the week. Probably not a favorite, I don't think, but I think he's going to have a good week. And he had a pretty good weekend last week as well, I believe anyways. So he's riding some good golf.
He won in Texas last year.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think he had a really good trophy there too when he won in Texas. I do remember that.
No, he had to put on boots, cowboy boots.
Right. That's what it was. Drake in the chat, his hot take for the pool is Ludwig Auberg.
And
Also
Ludwig was my pick.
There you go.
I wrote it down as proof before I did get Drake's input, but yeah, he's probably the second or third hottest player in golf this calendar year, next to Joaquin Niemann. This gentleman has won on other tours and 2 top 10s in 6 events on the PGA Tour. We kind of need this guy to have an absolute breakout season. He's the new wave, kind of the initial person of the new crop that's going to be entering the tour and kind of taking over. So if he can get to an absolute hot start, which I think he can, I'd put a lot of money on this bet, actually.
Oh,
until he grows a nice big set of horns and then gets poached by Liv.
Yeah, it's true.
Tough.
But that's the thing.
Take him while you can. That's been Liv's playbook, is to wait for guys to win and then throw just a shit ton of cash at them right after, and then they're gone.
It's a crazy play.
It's a smart move, though.
Nuts. It is smart, but it's like
it's working.
Christ. It's working, right?
Yeah. There's a short video on YouTube. It's about 12 minutes long, probably, on, I think the PGA did it, and it's on Ludwig Auberg. It's pretty interesting. It's a very short, like, mini documentary about him. So if you got 10 minutes, highly recommend watching it. You could probably just search him on YouTube, and it'll be the first thing that pops up. Get to know him a little bit better before the weekend.
He's a stud, hey?
Yeah.
Absolute.
Wow.
What is he, 21?
And the fact that he came in and did what he did at the Ryder Cup was insane.
Woo. Yeah.
Like, that's
big fan of this guy.
That's big pressure, man.
It'll be fun to watch. It'll be a very skilled field, action-packed. I think it's the first golf tournament I've actually been excited for quite a while, honestly. Probably since 2023. So a lot of months. I mean, it's nice just to throw on golf and see what's kind of going on, but it's different to actually pay attention to everything that's happening and have some skin in the game. Obviously, with Tiger back a couple of weeks ago, that was one, but it didn't last very long. So kind of put a damper on.
Why isn't he playing this weekend?
I thought he was, because he posted a little teaser on his Instagram last week that he was getting ready.
He did a couple of weeks ago, yeah.
So that was kind of shitty. But anyways, Chet
Maybe
in chat says Stenson's his pick.
maybe Tiger's just not quite ready that he thinks he can compete here, and he just doesn't want to. Just wait. Like there's like 3 weeks till the Masters. Like
Oh, I
Yeah.
love hearing
4
that.
weeks.
I love hearing those words. 3 weeks to the Masters.
Do you see Patty Law was there today?
At Augusta?
Yeah, you see
Yeah,
the
but do
snap
like
story?
Haven't yet.
He didn't go. He just went to the end of the lane and took a picture and then
Oh.
left. I think he's on a family road trip, maybe somewhere. But because I was like, "You didn't go there, did you?" He's like, "No, it's pretty tight security around there."
I'd go to jail for that. Yeah, 100%.
Me too, depending on the sentence.
Yeah, I don't care what the sentence is.
Well,
Well,
you wouldn't
not
go
care.
for life.
I'm not going
Yeah,
life.
he sent me this today.
Oh, damn.
Anything 30 years and lower, I'm in.
I did know that Patty was gone because we were talking about our King Golf stuff. Speaking of that, I got to do some announcements on King Golf Instagram, but we might as well do it on the show. Early release. If you are looking for some King Golf gear, you're going to be able to find it this summer at Minnedosa Golf Course, Golf and Country Club, also known as Dosa National. So if you're in the area, you don't have to pay shipping. We can hook you up at Dosa. So good to see. Patty's actually going to have a nice local section, I think, in the pro shop. That's kind of his idea. He's going to have like a section blocked off for local brands. And so King Golf is going to be featured on there this year. So big shout out to Patty. Hope he's having a good trip, and to the Dosa Golf Course. So that's it. We got Rory, we got Corey, and we got Ludwig for the picks this week. One last shot for everybody in case you weren't here 5 minutes ago. If you want to be in on the Bitcoin golf pool, send us a message on Instagram. Find a way to get a hold of us. If you don't have Bitcoin, you can send $15 and we'll put the sats in on your behalf. And if you win, you will be officially a Bitcoiner afterwards.
Hey, Drums, do you think Ludwig's going to be your new Tony?
He'll be right under Tony.
How come you didn't pick Tone Malone this weekend?
Because I got, like I told you, I got a good feeling of Ludwig.
I'd like to be able to put your money where your mouth is, but my betting accounts are forever gone.
Locked up?
Frozen.
They're locked up?
Yeah, frozen for good.
Uh,
It's been kind of nice. No stress that way. It's kind of a nice
That's
just
the
watching
thing.
sports and
You're
not
not
caring
shitting your
about the
pants,
results.
having a heart
Yeah.
attack. Yeah.
can just
But
enjoy
speaking
it.
of, our boy Rip, they are on an absolute heater right now.
Yeah, they had a disappointing loss, obviously, to LA, but man, they're smoking right now.
Yeah. Patty
yeah,
Roy gets
things
in
are-
there and starts turning the knobs, gets the boys going. I would be very interested to hear some Patty Waugh stories after the season from Rip.
Mhm. Whether it be on here, we got to get him on one of these times, man. We kind of told him fibs, man. We said that every time he scores, he can come on, and he's been fishing to come on as well, and it's
Yeah.
we got to get him on.
Well, we
We'll
got to
get
get
him
him on when there's golf happening, because when he comes on, he only wants to talk golf. Absolutely respect it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that concludes the show for tonight. Just kidding. We got a couple more things. Red, did you got a stroke saver tonight?
I do not. I was kind of happy when you said this. That concludes the show because I was going to look for one. Easton's not doing well. I was going to do some research for 25 minutes. I hadn't seen her all day. She's been laying in bed. I figured I better go.
That's okay. We do have
Give
one
her
last
some-
thing, though, before we go. We'll make sure Reggie has a very special one next week. But we do have our segment of Fix Your Divots. And this was a special one tonight because we are kicking off the very first Sats pool, the Bitcoin pool for the year. And so we decided that we're going to send some Sats to whoever had the best Fix Your Divots tonight. So before we go any further, Fix Your Divots, we should give a big shout out to the Prairie Scratch Tour, who sponsors this segment. Big shout out to them. They're building something pretty damn special here in Manitoba in the golf world. And big shout out to them for sponsoring this segment. Fix Your Divot segment, the purpose of it is not to bitch about other golfers on the course, but rather to point them out. And just in case somebody hears it and realizes that it pisses other people off, maybe they'll change their ways slightly. And we have to remember that not everybody grew up playing golf. We need to practice patience, and some golfers just don't know any better. So that is the point of Fix Your Divots. The Prairie Scratch Tour is back for another season, 2024. This year's stops include Southwood, Grand Pines, Quarry Oaks. Got to get to Quarry Oaks soon. I've been hearing lots of good things about Quarry Oaks, Falcon Lake, and the finale at Breezy Bend. If you would like to play, if you would like to compete with the best golfers in Manitoba this summer, visit prairiescratchtour.ca, check out their Instagram, find a way to sign up for an event, and we'll hopefully see you out there at some point this summer. So we're going to be tracking the Prairie Scratch Tour throughout this summer, keeping everybody up to date based on their tournaments, the winners, and all the news associated with them. So big shout out to Prairie Scratch Tour. The Fix Your Divots tonight, before Drums reads it, we almost had an audible. One came in 4 minutes before the show time. We're going to use that one for next week. We're also going to send him some sats, but Drums, you can stick with this one for tonight.
Okay, so tonight's Fix Your Divots comes from Tim Knight. This one's good. Players that wait for the green to clear when they haven't hit it that far in their life. So Tim and myself have had enough of guys, and I'm included in the guys, who sit around and wait for the green to clear at 200 yards, knowing they've never hit an iron or a wood or anything like that in that 200-yard range, and proceed to wait and wait and wait, and now nobody can hit. We're backed up another 15, 20 minutes. It's a cluster F. Let's be better.
Simple as that.
Yeah, it happens a lot too. And
Way too much.
it happens a lot of times when that guy hit that shot once, ever, downwind on a hot day, and it'll never happen again, but that one time, which, I don't know, it's tough because
It's so tough, right?
You also don't want to be the dickhead running the ball up on people on the green, but yeah. I
What-
mean, the guys that Tim's talking about are the guys that are never going to hit it.
Yeah.
Like there is an in-between part there, but I know exactly what he's talking about as well.
100%. There's a distinction. There's a difference between the people that Tim is talking about, and let's say, for a real good example, let's say I am 235 yards out on a par 5. There are people on the green. If I hit a decent shot, I can hit that green.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 10 to 20% chance I'm hitting a decent shot. I'm stuck in that position.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
That might even be worse, honestly.
I think it is worse.
I've completely mind-fucked myself, so I might as well hit it anyways and put it out of bounds. So I don't know what the answer is here.
I
But
honestly think
I'm honestly with Tim for the majority of it.
I think at that point, Drums, though, I think you just put the big stick away and just lay up. Like there's honestly there's no winning really unless you hit that. That's the only way everybody after you hit's like, oh well, glad we waited. Because if you hit it right away and knock it on the green, you're an asshole. If you wait, and then hit it and hit a shitty shot, like, oh, glad we waited. I don't know, man. It's such a tough spot, but that's two different things from what Tim's talking about to what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there's no chance you can get there, don't wait.
I think in your case, Drummy, Tim would be talking about someone who would be, say, 280 yards out,
Right.
not 230.
Yep.
So if you think that 10 or 15% of the time you can get there at 230, he's talking about the guys who at that exact same level are waiting when they're 280 yards out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that Reggie said it right off the start. I just think that similar to what we were talking about last week in terms of guys always being short on par threes. It's funny how guys remember like those shots in terms of yardages of how far they hit at one time, but they can't remember other good shots that they've hit throughout the course, and their mind is littered by bad shots. Every time they step up to the tee box, all they see is bad things happening. But then all of a sudden, when they're waiting to hit at the green, they remember that one time that they hit it 260 yards, and that's what they just scoped. So now they're going to sit there and wait for 5 minutes.
Look at Chet, or look at Dusty's comment there for reference.
So this is Dusty Dick, former Tamarack champ. Two-time, I think, right? Two-time Tamarack champ?
Two-time.
So he says a classic one is guys barely hitting it level with the trap on the right side of hole 16 at Weed City, who then wait for the green to clear, drove it 250 yards and have 280 in. And that was the exact scenario that I was talking about just seconds ago with the 280. That's the hole that I had in my mind in terms of people waiting there. So that is a perfect example from the chat from Dusty. Very knowledgeable golfer. Very good golfer as well.
So what I actually do in that situation is I defer to my partner. And if Farnes is in the mood and is good for a tussle that night, then I'll go. And if not, then I won't hit the ball. So depends if Farnes is in a good mood and I hit it good and hit the green and somebody wants to go, Farnes will step in. If not, then I don't hit the shot.
I think one final note for me on this is that like for an example of what Dusty's talking about here, this is a classic scenario. So at Weed City hole 16, I do think that, and Reggie mentioned this, sometimes it is better to just lay up. Especially you have to consider where the pin is.
Especially on
because
16,
if the pin's at the back, then you can just hit it to, hit an 8-iron out there and put it to your most comfortable spot instead of, it gets narrower closer to the green. On the flip side of that, if the pin's at the very front, I would take an extra club and try to maybe get it past the pin, because if you're short on that hole with a front pin, there's absolutely zero chance that you're stopping it based on that pin. So an example like that is go past the hole and come back towards the front pin. But that's just things you kind of have to map out in your own brain and actually pay attention to where the pins are instead of just like dialing in on a certain yardage. And that's what you want to hit it, right? So a little bit of pet peeve, a little bit of course management there mixed into it, but that's kind of all encompassing.
That's the point.
While we're sitting here, Ches sent me a message. Ches is in the chat. He sent me a message on Instagram. A picture of a signed Canadian Open flag by Nick Taylor.
Flip it. Like last year's Canadian Open flag?
Pretty sick. He says, just got this in the mail from Golf Canada. # the putt contest winner. 1 of 3.
What the fuck?
Wow. Chazzy.
Pretty sick. That's a big win.
That's unreal.
Huge win. That's a cool piece of memorabilia.
Man,
yeah, that's shit that your great grandkids get.
Unreal.
Isn't that crazy how like those giveaways work? Like I honestly, when I see big accounts like that, like posting giveaways, I'm just like, there's no chance that I'm ever going to win this. So what's even the point of like entering this? And
I think when I see those, I think there's 0% chance they hand this prize out.
True. Also true.
Yeah.
But I mean, Chez is living proof. Take a shot.
The other one that the other thing that changed my mind on that was, do you remember back in the day, we used to may or may not have filled out the Ducks Unlimited things?
I was a victim of that.
Yeah. That's as
I
far
got
as I'm
called
getting
for about
into
a
it.
year straight.
And if you know, you know. They hunt you down.
Oh, yeah. They don't take no for an answer. you have to assume that like 90% of those are a joke, right? Like
They're all
at
bullshit.
some
That's why they
point,
call people.
yeah. At some point, they kind of have to figure out that their whole thing is just like a practical joke to a lot of people,
And
and
they also haven't seen those things in a couple of years.
to take whatever the picture's worth and like find the closest value to that, and like phone that person. And especially if it's like a handwriting, then it's probably like an older person who actually wants the picture. But if it's Daffy Duck with somebody's phone number, they probably didn't actually do that.
Also, how completely stupid were we to actually give our phone number?
Well, I have had a couple people put my phone number on there, so they signed my number on their behalf. So also big shout out to Stocks as well. About 10 years ago now, he went on the Dolphin, what's it called? The bargain bin, Reggie?
Yeah.
And said that I had German Shepherd pups to give away and put my phone number on there. So I got calls for about 2 weeks straight. And it got to the point where it was like sickening. Like it was every half an hour, there would be a random number calling me. I just stopped answering because every one of those phone calls was somebody looking for free German Shepherd pups. So if you ever want to sewer somebody, that's a very good way to do it.
Barn cats.
When
Barn cats.
When we first discovered that Wikipedia was like an editable site, there was a 3-week to 1 month period that me and Rob were the most famous people that existed from Dolphin.
You could get away with so much more back then, man.
Yeah. The internet was
internet was
awesome
just
back in then.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good show tonight, boys. I'm very excited for this weekend of golf. I'll be they tee off pretty early tomorrow, hey? I saw some 6 a.m. starts, which would be like
8 hours. We might be
7
back to
a.m. for
7.
us.
We're 1
7
hour.
a.m.
We're 1 hour behind.
Yeah.
Behind them.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
So we're gonna be it's gonna start at 6:40 here.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, that makes more sense. So that's 7:40 their time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Taylor Montgomery and Taylor Penn just playing together.
Nice.
E-squared.
Good to see Pendy back.
Mm-hmm. He'll be buzzing.
Okay. Oh, and next week, hopefully it'll be next week. We'll probably have to talk amongst ourselves here, but the plan is to do local knowledge, Wheat City Golf Course next week. We'll see. We might push it back a week just so it's a little bit closer to the start of golf season, but Wheat City will be next up. So start thinking about your secrets of Wheat City. I'm very interested to see, as a guy who's played there countless times, I'm interested to see if anybody has any tips or strategies that I've been doing wrong for the last 10 years of my life. So start thinking about that. We'll have updates as they come in for us. So with that, Drummy, take us out of here, brother.
Beauty. We are out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us yet again. That's it. We're out. Love you, boys. Later.
See you, fellas.
Love you, boys.